and we didn't agree on one, so we'll see what to do there. But okay, we all said Lakers and Thunder. Um, and I said Lakers are gonna beat the Thunder in 5.
Mhm.
You guys saying Lakers?
I say Lakers too, probably in 6. I'll say Lakers in 6, just because they are a much more favorable team, much more like 2 top 5 players, better than obviously. I love the Thunder, but at this point, LeBron and AD, they will win. I'll go Lakers in 6.
I go Lakers in 5 because
Yeah.
Thunder's lack of experience. I think Lakers' size, their defense. I don't know.
It's just like talent wise, it's not. I don't think it's even close. Like it's not fair to the Thunder. Okay, this is an interesting one. Nuggets, Clippers.
Clippers.
I said Clippers in 7. I think Nuggets are gonna push them like all the way to the end.
Really?
Yeah, I think Nuggets. I think Nuggets are really good. I think Nuggets can push them all the way to 7, but I don't think they're good enough to beat the Clippers. Like, but I can see the Nuggets giving them a lot of problems. So yeah, I'm saying Clippers in 7. I think they just barely beat the Nuggets.
I have Clippers. For sure Clippers. I'll go Clippers in 5.
Wow. Okay, dude, you're not believing the Nuggets.
No, not really. I mean,
What Vamsi thinks about that, man.
I just like I don't know. I don't know how Jokic can beat Kawhi and Paul George. Like, I mean, Lou Williams is pissing me off. He has not been doing anything his entire bubble.
Yeah, Lou Williams has been really bad. He's come back and been shocking.
But that's okay. They don't need Lou Williams to beat the Nuggets. That's the reason why you'll see later on. I don't think they'll beat the Lakers just because of Lou Williams, how he's been playing.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get.
Yeah.
Magoosh.
I say Clippers in 7. I agree with Ronit because the Nuggets have a way to challenge any like superstar team. Like just based off how they did against the Lakers, where they didn't even use their starters and it came down to a buzzer beater. It kind of depth, and they're willing to like go all the way.
They're good.
Really good team, and I give them like in one more year, I could say they could even like compete for the title because all those players are like young, and you know they have such a promising future. Like in a couple of years, they could be like NBA champions. But for now, I say Clippers in 7.
Yeah, I think after this era of Lakers, Clippers, Warriors is over, I think Nuggets and Celtics are probably gonna be the 2 favorites, in my opinion, from the conferences to like win. Yeah.
I mean, Giannis, wherever he goes, also will be a contender. Like.
Yeah. Middleton like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But okay, good segue. That's a good segue though. Speaking of Giannis, we've got the Bucks versus the Heat, and I think the Heat can actually give Bucks like a run for their money. Like, I think they match up pretty well.
Yep.
But like, I still think like Giannis is just too good. Like he himself is good enough to win this series, I think. So I have the Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 5 for me. It's actually
Bucks in 5. Damn, bold statement from the Bucks fan.
What? Nothing.
Damn, I thought you would say in 7 or something. I thought you'd be more scared of the Heat.
I am more scared of the Heat, but yeah, maybe Bucks in 6. But that's about. I don't know.
Yeah, and this is you got the Pacers advancing, right? Or no?
No. I had the Heat advancing. I want the Pacers to win because I know it's easy sweep, but.
I think it'd be a sweep if it was the Pacers.
No, I think it'll be Bucks in 5, but the reason I'm saying that is because every game will be really close. I think Bucks will just take it over. That's it.
That was kind of my thing for the Celtics Sixers. Like I said, Celtics in 5, but I think every game is gonna be really close too. But
yeah,
I just can't see Sixers beating the Celtics. Like even right now, like Kemba's playing terrible, and they're still beating them by 8. I mean, I know Tatum.
Al Horford has been doing.
Yeah.
I don't think, and they're not taking that many shots. Philly is like, Tobias doing okay. He's 50% from the field. Embiid is obviously eating 24 points, but Al Horford is done absolutely nothing. I think he'll learn. I think he'll learn to get better. Korkmaz has done nothing, but yeah, they've literally been playing their starters and then Thibault and Burks. That's it. So
Yeah,
Burks
I
took
think
15 points on the bench. I think Thibault can get better, and then Horford, he's a veteran. He needs to get I think he can learn. He should be able to learn from these
Horford needs to step up. Like this is literally why they
signed him.
why they brought him in, is to help them beat the Celtics in the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
sad.
they have to. I think they have the talent to do it.
I mean, the one thing I'll say about the Sixers is I think they had the talent. I think even without Simmons, it's not like their lineup is terrible. I think they have enough talent to at least make it really close with the Celtics. But they're just the most mentally weak team I've ever seen. Like they died. I'm pretty sure their away record, their home record is amazing, and their away record is absolute shit. I think to me they're a really mentally weak team. I don't think that's their biggest hindrance to me. Is I don't think they'll ever get over that barrier. Like they just can't take failure. I think so. Anyway, that's something else to consider. But Magoosh, what do you think about Bucks versus Heat?
I was glad you were talking that time. I had to think about it because I don't know. I feel like he can really compete with the Bucks, but I think Giannis. I don't know. I say Bucks in 6, but
Yeah.
I really wouldn't be surprised, truly, if he were to come out with the win, to win the series.
Yeah.
They're the underdog team. I think a lot of people will sleep on them, but I don't know. I haven't really watched many Heat games, so I don't know how well they do. But one thing I know is they have depth, and they can, they're kind of like the Nuggets, but in the
They
East.
got shooters. They're good. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed it 7. If they win, maybe a little bit surprised, but they're really good. Okay, this is another interesting one. So you guys have Sixers advancing. I have Celtics advancing. So for me, I have Celtics and Toronto matching up. And I guess this is technically an upset, but I said Celtics in 7 to beat the Raptors. And this is another kind of mental thing. I think on paper the Raptors probably have no, I wouldn't even say that. I think they both have similarly skilled lineups. They both have great coaches too. I think they're very even teams, which is why I think it'll go till 7. But to me, I just think I would trust Brad Stevens more in the playoffs than Nick Nurse. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember last year in the finals, the Raptors probably would have won in 5. I remember people were saying oh, Raptors would have lost game 6 if Clay didn't get injured. But Raptors literally would have won in 5 games if Nick Nurse hadn't called a timeout, I think, with 3 minutes left, and they were up by 7 or something. And it was a boneheaded decision. And don't get me wrong, Nick Nurse is a fantastic coach. I think probably the coach of the year, maybe. Maybe apart from Frank Vogel, but against Brad Stevens in the playoffs, I would trust Brad Stevens more. And I trust personally. I know Siakam's been great, and Van Vliet has great moments as well. But I would trust the core of Kemba, Tatum, and Brown and Hayward over that team. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But okay, so you guys have 76ers Raptors. What do you think?
I think it doesn't matter if Celtics or 76ers get it. I think Raptors will win in 7. I think Raptors have. I'm fully on board with Siakam.
Yeah.
He proved a lot of people wrong. He definitely stepped it up. Definitely the number 1 option. They have Van Fleet, Lowry. I mean, if you're talking about playoff experience, I don't know what more than Lowry, but more importantly, the Raptors just won the championship last year. They have all that experience. Marc Gasol, right? They still have him. They have depth. They have depth, and they have playoff experience. They have Siakam and Van Fleet, who are gonna kill it. And I'm fully on board with Siakam, and I think Raptors will win in 7, no matter if Celtics or the 76ers. Doesn't matter.
2 of the best defensive teams in the NBA. Two top 5 defensive teams. That'll be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, it just came down to like who's going to play better defense. And in the playoffs, I trust Brad Stevens to get his players to lock up Siakam. Like I think the Raptors are a lot more one-dimensional, especially on offense than the Celtics. Like I think Nick Nurse was asked today or yesterday or something. He was like, somebody asked him who's gonna be like the player in the playoffs that like when you need a bucket, you're gonna give him the ball and he's gonna like put his head down, get your team a bucket. Last year, obviously, it was Kawhi, and this year, he said it was Siakam. The thing is, Celtics are such a good defensive team, and like Brad Stevens is such a great head coach that I think they'll be able to neutralize Siakam. So that's just my point of view. But Magoosh, 76ers or Raptors?
Like Rishan said, we both said, I think he said 76ers in 7. So I wouldn't be surprised whether the Celtics make it or the 76ers. They're both well-coached teams, all three of them. And I say it's going to come down to Game 7.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. But you're saying the Raptors?
Yeah, I'll go with the Raptors. I don't think the Sixers make it. I don't see them going past. I never saw them going to the conference finals. I think they will all be overworked without Ben Simmons. I think they need that other star on their team to really operate. Six, again, like you said, Brad Stevens. But at the same time, you did say that they're the most challenged team when it comes to mental focus.
Yeah.
To get over that bump, having that that feeling that they passed the first round, I think they'll be able to compete with the Raptors and win. But again, I wouldn't be surprised whoever wins, but I think it will go to a Game 7.
Yeah, it's a very close game right now between Celtics and Sixers. 6-point game, 2 minutes to go. That'll be interesting to see. But we're down to the conference finals. So we've all got the Lakers and Clippers. This is going to be a very interesting one. I want to get Strisha's opinion first because he's a Lakers fan. I want to see what he thinks.
All right. It's gonna go to a Game 7.
Okay.
No doubt. I think Kuzma steps up, which he has been. He's been delivering in the bubble. There were a lot of questions before, but he's been delivering. And I think him and AD have been resting for the past couple of games. So if he delivers, no doubt, I think Lakers will win. And also their bench has to, they can't be what happens is when LeBron plays well, everyone else kind of plays poorly. That's the kind of nature of what happens.
It's the system. He is the Lakers system. He always has the ball. That's just how you have to play when you have LeBron.
You saw how he didn't take the final shot. It was Koops who took it. So,
I saw it.
I think he noticed that I can't be the one dominating the ball. That makes us lose games. It's not the case. It's not Ty Lue's system. It's Vogel's. So with that being said, with those circumstances, I say Lakers. But even if there's one of them is off every game, I say Clippers. It's kind of hard to predict because during the regular season, I think Clippers it's 2-1, right?
I think it was 2-2. I think they split it. Did they play 4 games or 3 games?
Oh wait, the bubble too, right? So
yeah.
But anyways, obviously, I will put my bias to this, and I will say Lakers in 7.
All right. I will actually let's go to Rishan next because I remember you were bringing up something important.
Yeah. Lou Williams is shit. He's not good anymore. Lakers is gonna win.
Morel is back. Morel is back today, though. From
Harrell, I love Harrell. Hopefully he can bring the defense. I'll say Lakers in 7, sure. I really think Lakers will win all of it. I mean, you know what? Like, I'll go Lakers in 7 just because maybe like Paul George and Kawhi will step it up. So we'll see. But I just think that Lou Williams has been horrible. I can't watch him. I think that if Kuzma steps it up, which he has been doing, then what's the issue about the depth again? Not only do they have 2 top 5 players, they have Kuzma and they have Danny Green, who are definitely solid players. So I think Lakers will win.
Yeah. Good points. So this is very interesting. I think the Clippers are a little bit unlucky to get the Nuggets instead of the Rockets. Or not, I mean, instead of they got unlucky to get put in that side of the bracket based on their record. And I said the Nuggets would push them to 7 games and make them really work for it. And in the case that happens, I think the Lakers win. And that's what I have in my bracket because I do have the Nuggets pushing the Clippers to 7. And the reason I say that is because, first of all, like people have a little bit of a misconception. As someone, I've been watching a lot of the Clippers game recently. As someone who has been watching a lot of their games, I think people have a misconception of how good of a coach Doc Rivers is. And I think a lot of Clippers fans will probably echo my sentiments that Doc Rivers is kind of an overrated coach, and he doesn't really manage the system's offense very well. Like 98% of the Clippers plays are giving it to Kawhi or Paul George, setting a high pick and roll, and then letting Kawhi and Paul George do whatever they want. There doesn't really seem to be a structure. He more so relies on just like their talents, and like it works a lot of the time because Kawhi Leonard is so good and Paul George is so good. But in the playoffs against a Lakers team that's literally, apart from the Bucks, the best defensive team in the NBA, I don't necessarily know if that'll work. And the biggest factor to me is that they'll be really tired based on how I think the Nuggets series will play out. And I think a tired Clippers team is like that's a recipe for disaster because I don't think they're because they do so much load management with Kawhi and Paul George literally sitting out like every other game. I don't think they're ready to go into a long hard series, like another long hard series against a much better team in the Lakers than the Nuggets. I just don't think they have it in them to go through 2 very intense series that'll probably go down to the wire in each game. And for that reason, I'm saying the Lakers. It's also important to know that okay, I think when you look at the 4 biggest stars of that potential series, I think Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, I think they're going to ball out no matter what. The X factors I think are Paul George and Kyle Kuzma. Lou Williams, I don't know if he can make that big of an impact just based on how poorly he's been playing. But Paul George, to me, he hasn't shown yet that he can be consistent in the playoffs. He has been good in the bubble. So if he can continue that form, and if Kuzma goes back to the old Kuzma, I think the Clippers will win. If the Nuggets, if they beat the Nuggets like pretty easily, I think the Clippers will win. But with everything that I predicted so far, I just don't think that Paul George is going to show up enough. And I think Kuzma, I think the biggest thing with Kuzma, sure, you probably know more about this, but I think the biggest thing with Kuzma is like he kind of crumbles under the expectations of like being in LA. And like I think that's why he was so good without LeBron. Because like the Lakers team didn't have any expectations. And he was like kind of free to like he played a lot more freely. And as soon as LeBron came and Anthony Davis especially came, there's been like you need to win a title, and that's been the expectation. And I think he's like not been able to perform his best. And now that there's no fans, I think he's been able to play a little bit freely again. And so I think Kuzma will continue the form, and I think that gives the Lakers a considerable advantage over the Clippers, just based on how poorly Lou Williams has been playing. And you have to also consider Harrell will be rusty coming back from like literally not playing at all to today is going to be his first game. So I think I said Lakers in 6
Well,
based on how hard they'll have to play against the Nuggets and how easy the Lakers like path will be. Like the Trailblazers and Thunder, I don't think you could have asked for like an easier path to the conference finals, to be honest. So I'm saying Lakers in 6. The only thing that would change my mind is if the Clippers are able to beat the Nuggets easily, and then I would go for the Clippers.
I I think if Lakers versus the Thunder, wait, that's the second round, right?
Second round, yeah,
Lakers versus the
yeah,
Thunder, I think they'll win with relative ease. So they'll
yeah,
be more like physically ready for the conference finals. And if Lakers play the Nuggets and it comes down to the wire every game, they're totally right. Like Kawhi and Paul George are not used to like playing 7 games, like tough 7 games in a row.
yeah,
So yeah, you know, that being said, I think Lakers can win in 6 or in 7 or even better in 6. And with that Kyle Kuzma thing and his performance throughout the year, I think that in the regular season before COVID, his role was a lot different than the previous seasons of being the third option.
yeah,
Like Chris Bosh, when he was the third option in the Heat, he did like it wasn't much of a concern because he was able to adapt very well to his role. Being a lot of years in the league already. I think with Kuzma, he had a lot of learning to do. You know, like how do you approach this role? Because he used to be like once he got the ball, he can just shoot whenever he wants to. Like that's what his. Now he's like, oh, I have to look out for LeBron and AD and these guys because who knows what they can do. So it's a lot different. So I think during that time, once the regular season ended and the bubble began, he probably took a lot of time to like go through the film and all that and see
yeah,
how that third role. And I think that's why he's performing really well.
yeah. That's a great point. I think like the Lakers in general play much more as a team than the Clippers. I think off the court, the Clippers have chemistry. I think on the court, like they don't look as cohesive as the Lakers. Um,
They're the best team, I think, the Clippers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Talent wise, for sure, I think they're the best team.
but like Richard said, Lou Williams has been really underperforming right now, and Harry saying that he's not going to be to what he was once was. So yeah, I don't know. I say like,
Also, Kuzma's hair has changed, right? He doesn't have that yellow hair anymore.
no.
That has like ever since that he has been balling too.
All right, so the Eastern Conference Finals. I have the Bucks and Celtics. You guys have the Bucks and Raptors.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling we're all gonna say Bucks. I said Bucks in 6 to go to the finals.
Mhm.
You too? Bucks in 6?
Dude, I don't know. It's so tough. Siakam, I'm telling you, it'll be Bucks in 7, and it's gonna come down to a coin toss. If Siakam and Ibaka can guard Giannis, then
Yeah.
why not Raptors make it? Because they have way more
They match
players.
up very well.
Middleton, and who? That's it. So
They match up well against the Bucks for
they
sure.
match up really, really well. It's incredible. Like Siakam and Ibaka are great defenders. Obviously, offensively, Siakam's amazing. But Siakam and Ibaka are great defensively, and if they can stop Giannis, then Raptors can make it. I'm obviously gonna go with Bucks because I think Giannis. I really hope that losing Kawhi will help, but I'll go Bucks in 7. But honestly, it's gonna come down to a coin toss. It's gonna be a coin toss.
Magoosh?
I think they could like to what Richard was saying. I think they can do that for like 1 or 2 games, but they can't do it for the entire series. It's just way too challenging, and the depth. I don't know. It's kind of hard to do that for 7 games if it goes to 7 games. But whatever team faces the Bucks, I don't think they can match up to them. So I say the Bucks, whether it's the Raptors, the Celtics, the 76ers. I think, yeah, I don't see a team that can pose that much of a threat because you have to ball out every single game. I think they have to exert so much energy just to guard Giannis for one game. I don't know if they can do it multiple times.
Okay, this is interesting. We all have the same NBA Finals.
I mean,
Lakers
a
and
lot of people
Bucks.
do.
Yeah. What do you think? Trisha first. Lakers fan. Wait, this is crazy. We have the Lakers fan and the Bucks fan in the finals. So we'll go to the Lakers fan first, Magoosh.
uh, I think obviously I'm gonna say Lakers, but Bucks are gonna put up one like a hell of a fight. It's not gonna be easy, and to play devil's advocate, if Bucks win, I wouldn't be surprised. They're a really talented team with one of the best players in the world, and LeBron's getting older. Who knows what playoffs can do to him playing at a high level every single game, being his 17th year in the season. Anthony Davis not having much playoff experience than you could hope for because he's a superstar, but he hasn't gone that far. He hasn't gone far at all. Pretty much everyone else, the Lakers tried their best to bring in veterans like Rondo, Braun, I guess J.R. Smith, but I'm not really counting him. But so it's tough. I say it's gonna come down to game 6 or 7. I'm gonna say Lakers, but it could eat the Bucks, no doubt.
Or Bop?
I will say Lakers in 7.
Oh damn! No. No.
I hope it's not true. I really hope it's not true.
Damn, picked against Giannis, but why?
Because they have 2 top 5 players, and Giannis has Middleton. I love Middleton so much. I just think matchup-wise, I don't think the Bucks can match up. I don't think Bucks can match up to the Lakers. I really don't. I think LeBron is going to eat whoever is guarding him. Literally, like I don't know who's going to guard him. Assuming Davis guards Giannis, I think LeBron is, or Giannis guards Davis, I think LeBron is just going to, I think LeBron will take it over, dude. I would go Lakers in 7.
But Rishan, one thing that proves how Lakers can lose is depth. Like Nuggets prove that. You don't.
Yeah. But the Bucks, like, our depth is not as good as like.
Yeah, Bucks don't have that great depth actually.
We don't have much. Like obviously we have who. I don't know who is honestly good depth wise. We have decent, but compared to Lakers depth, it's not as big as a difference as other teams.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's
like Bucks have been worse this year than last year. I think the only reason they've been able to do so well is because of how great Giannis has been.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the Bucks have gotten worse. I think Brook Lopez is good. Middleton is amazing. Bledsoe and DiVincenzo start. I think DiVincenzo is great if he starts off the bench, but that's about it. I don't know who else. George Hill was amazing coming out in the beginning of the season, and then it slowed down. It slowed down a lot, and then that's about it. There's really no one else.
Definitely lost momentum.
So Chris Middleton, man, everyone's underrating him. He's gonna have like a 50, 40, 90 season, which is amazing. That's crazy. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't think the Bucks can match up to the Lakers. One of the two will just go off, if not both.
Yeah, I think. Okay, let me just preface it by saying I think there's a really good chance the matchup is Clippers-Bucks, like I said. Mm-hmm. And in both cases, I'm gonna pick the Western Conference finalist. I think that's
the winner of the Western Conference is probably gonna win the entire thing.
Yeah. So I think Lakers in 6. I think like Rishan said, 2 top 5 players on the same team. Middleton is really good, but the Lakers they have so much more depth than the Bucks that I don't think like the bench can keep up with the Lakers. And the big thing is with Giannis, he's so unstoppable, but also so stoppable. Like he's very good at backing up and then charging down the lane and doing like a fadeaway spin move maybe, or like drawing a foul. But against one of the best shot blockers in Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard and JaVale, even, like, seriously, those are like they have some of the best interior defense in the league. I don't see Giannis being as productive as he usually is. Um, and honestly, I think the Raptors would stand a better chance against the Lakers in the finals.
Yeah.
So I think if the Raptors do make the conference finals and they somehow make the finals, that they would have a better
They
chance.
could. Yeah. I'm telling you, Raptors Bucks is gonna be a coin toss. It's not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. That's how close it's gonna be.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think the difference maker is going to be LeBron. I think Giannis is definitely going to guard Anthony Davis because he's obviously the biggest offensive threat. But LeBron, I mean, this is what LeBron saves himself for, is like the playoffs. This is where he stops coasting. This is where he starts really trying. So I think this is where he'll shine. I think they'll win it for Kobe. So damn, yeah. We've all agreed. We've literally agreed on almost everything.
But to play devil's advocate.
Well, okay. I do think Clippers have a decent chance, though.
Also,
I think
another disagreement. Rockets honestly could beat Thunder. Like, it's the one team that I could disagree on.
Yeah, but I still don't see the Rockets beating the Lakers, so I don't know if that makes too much of a difference.
Here's the thing.
I don't know, dude. If Westbrook's back, I love the Rockets.
Yeah. No way. I don't think they beat the Lakers. But what were you saying, Magoosh?
Yeah. Whatever. Kind of play devil's advocate, like, because we all agreed whatever Western Conference team comes into the finals will win. The Eastern Conference will most likely have it. I wouldn't say easier time, but the matchups are far different than the Western Conference. In the Western Conference, every single game can it's gonna be crazy. Just starting from the first round, like when you see like I think it's the Bucks and Magic. Like that's not even a thing. Like you can rest your starters for that game. So it's a far easier route to get to the finals. But so the Eastern Conference team will be a lot more rested than the Western Conference. I think that will play a really major role. And if the Clippers were to get into the Western Conference after facing the Nuggets, I think that's a far it's going to be very difficult for them. I think if it's the Bucks, I think they have a really good chance. But I don't know. This is, like Ronit said, this is what LeBron waits for. He just waits for the playoffs to try. Yeah. So if he doesn't perform to the what our standard, like the NBA fan standard, it'll be really depressing to watch because he preaches all this stuff about beast mode in the playoffs and all that. So it'll be kind of depressing to see him. But like I said, I wouldn't in these circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks come out as victorious.
I think the thing about rest is a lot of it depends on the potential matchups you have. I think the way I have it, the Lakers have, assuming they play the Trailblazers and the Thunder, I think they have a pretty. I think they have an easier time than the Bucks if they play the Heat. If the Bucks play the Magic and the Pacers, I think they probably have the advantage. But it also depends on what matchups they have.
Well, if they play the Rockets, which are one of the fastest teams.
Yeah, if they play the Rockets. Yeah, that'll be definitely difficult.
Clippers afterwards, it'll be. And then
sure.
Because Nuggets versus Clippers, Rockets versus Lakers.
Yep. Damn. So there it is. There's your predictions. I think we all pretty much agreed on almost everything. Mm-hmm. We've all got the Lakers. Really quick before we end, who is your dark horse candidate to win NBA Finals? Not the Clippers, because I think that's pretty obvious. That's a pretty obvious one. Who else do you think can win the NBA Finals besides the Clippers, Lakers, or Bucks?
Raptors.
What do you think, Magoosh?
I say the Heat.
The
Dude,
Heat.
Raptors. Raptors can literally, dude. They're the not just the dark. They're like honestly almost a favorite. Raptors will go far, dude. I'm telling you, like that's 100% the dark horse
I would say Raptors, but has them losing to the Celtics
for me.
very closely. I'm gonna say the dark horse is. I'm gonna go with the Heat as well. Actually, I think the Heat could low key beat the Bucks, and they could low key beat the Raptors as well. So
Uh,
I think it's definitely between the Heat or Raptors to me.
You want a dark horse final? I think it could be the Heat and the Nuggets.
Yeah. For actually no, I changed my mind. I'm gonna say the Raptors. Definitely the Raptors. They match up really well with the Lakers. Nick Nurse is a fantastic coach. I would say the Raptors. I think dark
Yep.
horse. Yeah. All right. That's it, Bobcast fans. We'll see you guys on, I think, Thursday. We'll try to
the
do
lottery, yeah. Line
live.
react. Pistons dropping 3 spots.
Yeah, shut up. That'll be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, it is sure.
I'm the only one with the team in the lottery, though, as a Pistons fan. But I guess these guys are also kind of Pistons fan as well. So
I'm not.
Yeah, and emotional Warriors. So.
yeah, and Mo's a bandwagon Warriors fan, so he'll also have his team.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna make it clear for the 10 viewers who are gonna watch this. I'm
Yeah.
a bandwagon Lakers fan.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I'm a true fan. I've
Dude,
supported.
we should make a video. We need to make a video dedicated to how Magoosh became a Lakers fan and the bet that we made. The game bet. Oh my God, you still have the Facebook post? Dude, we need to make a video on that.
I have college apps, man. If they read that thing.
Dude, no way. Do you still have it?
No, I think it's like in
Believe
the
it?
books, but I got it off my timeline.
No. All right, we have to make a video on that. But anyways, thank you, 3 people for listening. We'll see you guys on Thursday.